Welcome to the channel where all you got to do is run some compressed air lines. So over the past few weeks I've been doing a bunch boring shit instead of working on the roll cage on this. I will get back to that, but that compressor up there, which is an old Craftsman, had that at Allen Engine Development in 1996. It's had a good life, but it's ready to throw right out the side. I may pull it apart and do some machining on it so it lasts a little bit longer, but anyway, it's time to upgrade. So I made a video a few weeks back on putting my 7.5 horsepower Emax compressor in a little shed, and now it's time to, instead of having, don't laugh at me, rubber hoses going to and fro, which, you know, it's been in here for 5 years or so, and it's worked. It hasn't blown out yet, but it's just a matter of time. I gotta run some copper pipe from there. Don't use PVC, that will end badly, so just don't do it. But I did want to mention a little bit about the wiring on this guy. This is a big compressor, big motor, 7.5 horsepower, and since I'm in a residential neighborhood, I don't have three-phase power, so which means you have to use basically a capacitor start motor, single phase, and it draws a lot of current. And it doesn't say anything in their manual about it, but this little sticker here says something about -6 wire, which seems appropriate, unless it's over 50 feet, which this is like 70, because my shop is a 20 by 35, so take the diagonal of that, plus you got to go to the ceiling and back down, and the electrical panel is opposite corners, which I knew when I started. But anyway, I had to use -4 wire, which is, it's some thick stuff, right? So unfortunately this box is pretty challenging to get -4 wire into these terminals here. This isn't hot, so don't worry about it. But so what I had to do was I tried outside the box. So basically I had to count these wires. There's 19 conductors, so I made one have 9 and the other one have 10, and the reason I did that was because I didn't have a choice, because it was not odd. But you also have to jam these little wires in here for the starter. So the way I had to do it was manipulate these wires into something usable, and then get that jammed in there, which takes a long time, and then crunch it down with put the screwdriver terminal thing in there and scrunch it down, and then flatten this wire out with some vice grips, because it's got like a ferrule on it. Smash that down, and if you smash this guy first and then smash it down with this terminal and then loosen it back up, then you have just enough room to get this other wire in there. It took me like an hour and a half to put these two wires on. So not awesome. I'm not real thrilled about that. I mean, if they mandate that you use a -4 wire, they should have a terminal block that's big enough for that. But anyway, I digress. No, that's a thing. The rest of it is pretty self-explanatory, right? There's a connector for 1L1 and 3L2. It's pretty obvious how that gets hooked up. And you have to leave these wires on that go down to the start solenoid thingy. But yeah, overall not too terrible. Alright, so this is where this guy's gonna live. Right there. And then I'm gonna come to this wall. I'll put another spigot 5 feet from that wall, which is actually more like here for the CNC. Whenever that turns into a machine that actually works. And then I'll put another one over here, wherever that green dot is, approximately, for the manual mill and the valve grinder. And then, yeah, so this will go that way to the machine shop, and this will go out there. One will be the main feed to the back of the CNC machine, because that needs air for the brake and spray mist and stuff like that. And then I'll continue down. Okay, so I got a little more progress going on. So instead of making a curvy doodle around each one of these electricals, I just did a drop down over here. Because 9 inches I dropped down. So this is where it comes in from the compressor, drops down. There'll be a spigot here for squirting off chips on the table. And then it comes down here, squirting off. Don't worry about this mess, it's fine. So that's all mocked up. And then I don't need anything in here, so I'm just going out to there. And then, yeah. So then that comes up and over. And this is the feed line for the spray mist and the brake and all that junk. So that'll come out there, connect here, boop, boop, done. And then I gotta move all this out of the way where I can get too much farther, which is this whiteboard, which is like, I use it as a dry erase board, which doesn't work that great because it absorbs moisture and gets bowy and stuff, but it still works. And plus it really brightens up the garage. Like this amount of light, it should be even more dungeony. And when you get old like me, your eyes get shitty. Okay, so now that I got most of the hosers run, I can fill these panels back in. This was left open for I don't know how many years, a lot of years, knowing I would have to run some hoses through here. So now I can put that panel in. I still need to drill a hole in here, no big deal, so the T can pop out of there. And then I need another panel up there as well. Alright, so many hours later, I got all this mocked up. That one there will go to a quick connect. This will go up and over to the hose reel, and then there's another down there by the parts washer. So my next endeavor is to science out how I'm going to assemble all this stuff, because I don't want to solder this against the wall because I'll, put scorch marks on the wall. So I'm gonna have to come up with a scheme to put all this stuff together on the bench, as much of it as possible. Alright, so I got this fitting, which is a 3/4 to 1/2 inch copper pipe thing. It's pretty thick. So what I'm going to do is stick it in this chuck. Make it tight. And then I'll get a 3/8 MPT tapered pipe tap, and we'll tap that. And what I'm going to do, this is an old broken tap here, and all taps have this, either a female or a male like centering on there for when they grind them. So that just goes in like that. I've already indicated this to the center of that 3-jaw chuck, so now I can just put a little bit of pressure on it, and then let the tapping commence. This is a thread depth tool that I made a long time ago. I just took a regular old 3/8 MPT fitting, figured out the depth I wanted, and then just put a little part off tool in the lathe. And then I can see where it needs to be. It looks like I gotta go about 2 more threads. And then you won't have to fiddle futz around trying to figure out what the depth is on every time you tap something. And copper is really fun to machine. If you've never machined copper, congratulations. It's just some gummy stuff. It doesn't really want to cut, it wants to form. Which is not ideal. I guess threading it with a roll tap would probably be a pretty good solution. Here we go. So right down to the bottom in there. And we're good to go. Okay, so I have, this is the end that goes by the solvent tank. Simple green tank, I guess. So this is flux. It's basically like a light acid. And ideally, what you do is just brush a little bit of this on. And this just cleans the copper, so it's gonna get a good bond, not leak. As I said earlier, what I'm doing is trying to weld all this stuff on the bench so I don't scorch my walls, because scorched walls are bad. All right. I'm just kind of holding this above the table a little bit so I don't catch the table on fire. And this is a lead-free solder, so it's tin and silver, I believe. Probably says somewhere. You can see that wicks right into the little gap between this part and this part, and that's what you want. You don't want it sitting on top, you want it like flowing inside. So that's what it should look like. And now I just gotta do a bajillion more. Okay, so got a lot of this stuff pre-soldered. So that one goes along there like that. To this corner, and then see all the way down there. That's all soldered. This piece is soldered over that way, and this piece is soldered. So now I gotta put all the puzzle pieces together, which is where the challenge comes, right? So in order to get this piece in between this racking, I couldn't put this part on, right? Because I want to take the rack down, which I don't. So this one here is not soldered as well, but I think I can pull that away from the wall and solder that after. Like some of these you can weld up and it doesn't matter what angle's on, right? Like these guys here, we want it to kind of aim horizontal, but if it's a few degrees off, it doesn't really matter. Whereas this guy, if it's a few degrees off, it isn't going to fit. So now I have to finagle all these in and then slide this T out from the wall as much as I can and solder this up and then push it in and then do the same thing on the other side. So wish me luck. The nice thing about working with copper pipe is you can always unsolder it. It's not like welding. You can just heat it up, pull it apart, do it again. A little bit of sanding required, but it's not too terrible. So. Temporary holder uppers. Okay, so here's my plan. I got these pieces of stainless steel, sheet metal. I don't know where they came from. Looks like Sound Defender leftovers. But anyway, there's an advantage to never throwing garbage in the garbage can. For some reason I do that. So I think I just need to take some tape these to the wall over here. Like there, and there, and then I get my torch in there without burning the place down. Okay, there you have it. Things all welded up, well, soldered up. I did make a little bit of that wasn't from the torch, that was from the stainless steel. It got red hot and it was touching there. So, yeah. I have to do the same thing over here. This one should be easier though. I got a couple inches I can move this out. Okay, so a little bit more progress. That guy soldered there, and then we got this one, a little bumpy around the electrical, and then a 17-degree bend up there. I don't know if you can see it, but okay, so a little bit of progress last night, bright and early now. So I have this copper pipe. Yeah, it's quite a thing. So yeah, now I gotta wrestle this into place. Just gonna go up there somewhere. I'll use this as my scaffolding so I can put the tie downs in. But my plan is to weld this all together. Well, I'm gonna fit it first, and then I'll solder it together after I know it's correct, because you know I made all these bends and stuff and I don't trust myself. Not sure you're supposed to be bending copper pipe with one of those, but okay, all soldered up. I have this thing kind of laid out, and the only kind of area I have big enough for the thing to sit on the floor in one piece. That's fine. Should be good. Let's get it wrangled up in place and see where we are. There's my loop-de-loop thingy. And then just need to pop this away from the wall, make that final. And then we'll go up there and put some holder-upper things on there instead of the zip ties. Probably shouldn't use those. That's temporary. Nearly temporary. Okay, so here's where I'm at. This is my addition. Guess I want to do some sandblasting or whatever out here. Air tools, blah blah blah, whatever. Yeah, line those up in case anybody's got OCD. So I'm just going to weld all these because these all matter what angle they're on. So I'm just going to not weld that other thing. Solder these all in place. Try not to catch the world on fire over here. I'll probably get some more of that stainless steel taped. Okay, so we're all done. Believe it or not, especially my brother who says I never finish anything. Well, okay, this one doesn't have a spigot on it yet because this guy's not working yet. Soon. Got my spigot over here. Squirt. Quick connector here, quick connector there, another one on the end, which isn't quite hooked up yet, but it's fine. And then, like all my projects, when I'm done, every tool in the toolbox is. So this is the compressor. If you listen carefully, it's pretty quiet right now. That's the noise. Pretty good. Somewhat muffled by this giant house I built. Yeah. Thanks for watching. If you like this content and want more, subscribe, like, and share.